Hi everyone, back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a match preview show for Newcastle United's upcoming game this Wednesday night, 8 o'clock kickoff. Thanks for that, Premier League, against Crystal Palace down at Selhurst Park. So Newcastle United are coming off a brilliant victory against Spurs, but Palace are also coming off a great victory against West Ham. So this should be a really challenging game for both sides. And we're going to talk about how we think we're going to line up, how the team's going to look, and how hopefully we're going to win this game. So we'll get stuck right into this in a minute. Just before we do, a little reminder. As we always say, if you haven't, smash subscribe. We'd love you to come and join us. We're over 7,500 subs, or 7,400, beg your pardon. I've just given us an extra 100 subs. We'd love you to have 100 subs. If you're watching, smash that button, gets to 7.5. But yes, we're over 7,400 subs, so buzzing for that. Unbelievable. Massive support. Thank you so much to everybody who smashed that button. It's all free content. But if you do want to give it back to the channel, there is a membership option down there. You get early access to videos just like this, but click whichever option suits you best. So let's get stuck in. As I said, Newcastle haven't played this weekend because it's been FA Cup. So we haven't had any action. Now, Crystal Palace did play. They smashed West Ham 5-2, really doing us a big favour in terms of the European positions. But they were on fire with some of their key players looking really, really good. So that isn't exactly what we needed for going into this game, because Palace will have their tails up, no doubt about that. But we also go into this game after smashing Spurs 4-0 and really bossing that game and looking like the Newcastle of old. So this is going to be an excellent game for the neutrals. Maybe a bit nervous for Palace and Newcastle fans, but this is how we think the guys are going to line up. So we've changed it a little bit. So although Eddie stumbled upon this kind of three at the back system with inverted fullbacks, dropping back in the shape of Anderson and Murphy, we've changed it a little bit, because with this extra time that we've had, this extra week to have a break, to rest, to recuperate, we think Lewis Hall and Livramento didn't train in the week leading up to the Spurs game. They were both on the bench. Tino coming a little bit earlier than he probably should have done. But I think with the extra time that they've had on the training pitch for both of those players to get a bit sharper, and with the pace that Crystal Palace possess in the shape of Elise and Eze in particular, I think that we're going to go for the two young fullbacks in Livramento and Hall. So this is how I think we'll line up Dubravka in goal, because there ain't any better choice really at the moment. Tino Livramento at right back, Fabian Schär and Dan Burn in the middle, and Lewis Hall back in at left back. And I think this will give us some great options. Not only does it give us a kind of defense against that pace that Eze has and Elise has, but it also drags them the other way as well, because both Livramento and Hall can and will attack down the flanks and go down the other way. You know, Palace have got some good players, like Tyreek Mitchell as well. Is a good player. He can bomb forward as well. But with Lewis Hall and Livramento either side, those guys will be more worried about us making those runs and pushing their good quality attacking players back at defensive positions where they don't want to be. So this is the way I think Eddie is going to go. And I can understand if he leaves it the same. You know, it's a brilliant win against Spurs. If he keeps that team exactly the same, you know, then that's fine. I understand it. But I think you will bring in the two young fullbacks to combat against the pace, because you have to adjust your lineup depending on the opposition that you're playing. And off the back of their 5-2 victory, where the likes of Eze and Elise were on fire, I think it's the best way for Eddie to set the team out. Midfield three kind of picks itself. You've got Elliot Anderson, great form. He's in at the minute. Really looking forward to seeing how he plays in this game against some of those Palace midfielders. Bruno Guimaraes on fire at the minute, you know, absolutely the top of his game. And Sean Longstaff looked a lot better against Spurs, a bit more energy in his legs. You know, we could be seeing a return to maybe a bit of sharpness from Sean, from, you know, recovering from this ankle knock that he's had. He'd probably have a operation on it, I'm sure, you know, in the close season or something like that to get himself right. But he did look a lot better against Spurs at the weekend. Sorry, at the weekend just gone there. And the notorious BIG up front with Barnes, Isak and Gordon in full effect. Now, I think that is a very good Newcastle United lineup, and I think that's a lineup capable of winning this game. But as I said, this is not going to be an easy game. You know, Palace have got some good players, and I think certainly going forward, I mean, looking at the Sportsmall kind of lineup here in terms of their team use, we know our injuries. I'm not going to go through all that. We all know that. But I think Adam Wharton has been a great signing for them. Young lad from Blackburn in midfield. He came off against West Ham. He had a bit of a clash in knees, but I think he's probably going to shake that off, and I think he's probably going to be all right, to be fair. So this is the Palace lineup that I think they're probably going to go for. I'm going to tweak it a little bit from Sportsmall. So you got Henderson in goal, a decent goalkeeper. You know, Nathaniel Klein, remember him? My God. Richards, Anderson, Munoz, Amanda, Hughes, Mitchell, who's a good player, Elise, and Mateta, who's a handful as well, by the way, and Eze is who they've got there. And I think they're ruling Anderson out for this game in terms of an injury. But you know, they've got I think is a Marcus Guy as well. In terms of centre halves as well, he's got a knee injury, so he could be missing. as well. But there's a lot of players here who could be quite close to passing fit. Jefferson Lerma's there, Decore's there as well. So I think there's a few players there who've got kind of muscular knocks, and maybe they won't make it, but according to Sportsmall, they're not going to make it. So if Marcus Guy isn't playing, that's a massive boost because he's got pace, he's strong, and he'd be a really good centre-half to deal or try to deal with Alexander Isak. But maybe the defence that are in there right now, so Anderson isn't the line, I beg your pardon, but it's Guy who's missing out according to this one. But with that centre-half pairing for Palace, they could join the list of I've been skinned by Alexander Isak's WhatsApp group that's growing every single week because Isak is bang at it. But the danger men for Palace is definitely Elise and Eze. I really like Eze. He's been great this season. Even though Palace have been a little bit up and down, you never know what you're going to get. But he's got 8 goals and 23 appearances and 3 assists in the Premier League. And I think he's a fantastic player. He really is. He's 25 years old. He's kind of just getting into those peak years. He's had a real long route to get to the top of his game, but he looks a really talented player. He's starting to do it in big games as well against the likes of City and people like that. And he is a really, really dangerous player. He can pull into little pockets of space. He's got skill. He's got quick feet. He's got a shot on him as well. So we have to really be bang at it to stop this player impacting this game. But I do think the way Newcastle are playing at the minute and our top players are massively performing. Bruno's on form. Gordon's on fire. Isak looks brilliant. Barnes is looking sharp. Anderson's coming to his team and give it, energy and aggression. Somebody who can get forward as well and make things happen as well as get back and put a tackle in. So I'm really confident going into this game. I think the lads are going to have enough to do the business, but it's not going to be an easy game. I think Palace can be up and down, but I think they'll raise their game for this. They always seem to raise their game against Newcastle when it comes to town. So I think that this is going to be a close game, and I'm going to go for 2-1 to Newcastle United to keep our march going for the Europa League positions. But it's not going to be easy. It could easily be a draw. I think Palace are more than capable of getting a draw or beating us, depending on how good their top players perform. We need to snuff them out, and that's why I think Eddie will go for that lineup we've just put up on the screen to make their good players defend more than attack. And I think that could be the key for Newcastle's success. But I do think midfield is a key area as well. I think Wharton's a cracking little player, but he's not going to he's not going to be able to come up against Bruno Guimaraes and play him off the park. As decent of a player as he is, Bruno is one of the best in the league. And I think with Anderson's energy, drive, aggression, and Longstaff's running as well, I think that midfield 3 could win the game for us. I really do. And then obviously when you've got the ice cold, lethal finish of Alexander Isak was chasing down Erling Haaland for that golden boot, and Cole Palmer for that matter, leading the line, Newcastle could really do the business and get this game won. But let us know in the comments below what you think about the lineup. Do you agree with, disagree with it? How do you think we'll line up? What do you think about the result? Do you agree with me? Do you think we're going to win this game? Do you think we're going to win it more comfortably than 2-1? We always like to hear from you. Drop a comment in for us, guys. We always try and reply as best we can. And as I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, smash subscribe. Come and join us. We'd love you to be part of Evermore. We're over 7,400 subs, so aiming for that 7,500 mark next, which hopefully we'll get to fairly quickly. We'll be back with a post-match analysis for this game on Wednesday night. Come and join me in the lives and let us know what you think about hopefully another Newcastle United victory in this close to the season and hopefully the march on to Europe. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep it Evermore, and we'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye.